Aloha, welcome to BeaDazzle Hawaii. Today we're going to be making coral teardrop earrings. We have some really nice sterling silver cone-shaped caps in a hammered finish or a satin finish. I'm going to use the satin finish today. I'm also using a large size top drill coral briolette. That's a crystal, and then I'm using red coral spacer bead, and that's a 2.5 millimeter round. So because the round shape is very tiny, I'm using 26 gauge wire and a delicate ear wire and twisted ring. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a pin with my wire using a chain nose plier, and I go down about 1/4 of an inch and I make a little more than a right angle bend. It's going to end up in a triangle shape to hang my crystal. So I string it through like that and then gently bend the other side up over the top of the crystal to make a little triangle at the top. Now, because this wire is fine, I'm just going to use my chain nose plier again, crisscrossing the wires at the top, and I'm just going to put a little twist in that tip to make sure it has a good hold, and then straighten out my wire like that. For the heavier gauge wire I used on the hammered cone, that was a 22 gauge wire. I just bent it in the triangle shape like an open jump ring and brought the tips together at the top. It's strong enough that you don't need to do that little twist. Okay, so now I'm going to take my cap, my cone cap, and string it on, and then string on my spacer bead, the little coral, and I use my 3-step plier to make my wrap loop. Now, some of our briolettes are AB finish, so you want to check and see where you would like the front to be. And I'm just picking this area as my front of my bead. So when I'm making my bend in my wire at the top, I bring the wire towards me over the front of my crystal. Then I reposition, bend the wire over around the first step of the plier, and then just roll gently over, rock back and forth to get it centered right over the stem of the wire. And before I do the wrapping, I'm going to add my twisted ring. I use a bent nose plier to grasp that loop, just so that my fingers are out of the way. And you can use your fingers or your chain nose plier to wrap that loose end around the stem. Until it's snug. You don't want to get too tight because this is pulling all the crystal and the cone and the spacer bead on top. If you pull it too tight, it may scratch crack the crystal. You just want it snug so it sits in there nicely. Then I'm going to take my wire nipper. It's nice and sharp. And go in, clip the loose end. Using my plier to straighten everything out. Check the crystal to see how it's sitting in there. So there's my teardrop. Now I'm going to add my ear wire. I twist the loop open just like I do with my open jump rings. And then twist close again. And there's my coral teardrop earring. You can find these crystals and findings at BeaDazzle Hawaii. Thank you.